Hey, what's up, everybody? I want you to think about this. Now, the only reason black people was brought into America was to create white wealth. That's it. That's the only reason black people was brought to America. That's the only reason we was brought to America was to create white wealth. It was so white people, the elite, the aristocrat, that never got their nails dirty. They never got their nails dirty. They never did nothing. They were lazy. And the only reason we was brought to America was to create white wealth. What happened is, from what I understand, one of the first popes owned slaves. You know, because black people was doing backstabbing shit back in them days too. So one of the popes had a slave, and they seen how hard the slaves worked. So the white Europeans was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get me some slaves. We're gonna take them to America, and we're gonna build America." Because you gotta understand, America was a vast open land. After white man had learned the land, he had learned how to cultivate the land from the Indians. He learned how to survive from the Native Americans, and that's another myth. White people did not come to America to escape religious persecution. That's one of the biggest fucking lies in the world. They was already in Europe. Europe is big enough to hide. Why would they have to come thousands of miles all the way to another country just to escape religious persecution when they could have hid in Europe? So that's a big lie. They came to America because they were the desperados, they were the society rejects, they were the lowbos. And they came to America to get rich. So after they killed the Native Americans and learned their way around the land, you know, because you could say, hey, this is my land and I'm keeping it, and this is my land, you know, I'm going to take me 40 acres and make me 40 acres of land and get rich. Get you a couple slaves, put them on the land and cultivate the land, and voila. You know, you grow corn, you grow cotton, tobacco, you know, and you get rich. And that's how you create white wealth in America. And what happened is, one of the reasons the white man reneged on the 40 acres and a mule is because when they made that promise for the 40 acres, the land wasn't worth shit. The land had no value. But once the slaves cultivated the land had value. So when it was time to let the slaves go, and the slaves said, well, where's my 40 acres? Master said, fuck you, I ain't giving you nothing. You know, the land is worth something now. Why am I going to give you my 40 acres of land? So that's why they reneged on it. But it was all about Europeans coming to America to create white wealth. And after slavery, a couple of years later, when slaves went their way and was building had their own property and stuff like that, that's why they started letting Italians and Jews and Germans come into the country, was to equal out the number, because there was too many black people in America. You know, white men were scared. There was too many black people in America that was brought over here as slaves. And once they let them go, and we was reproducing and shit like that, you know, there was a lot of us here. So they had to bring Europeans in the country to equal out the number. But pretty much that's what they're doing now, because, you know, they don't need black labor like they used to. So that's why they keep letting immigrants come into the country from Mexico and Italy and Russia and shit like that, is to have more white people in America, because there was too many black people in the country. And that's basically it. And it was just brought into America to create white wealth. That's all it is. And think about it. After slavery, when the slaves didn't have nowhere to go, they didn't have no land, they had to turn around and go right back into what they was doing for nothing. You know, they had to work just to have a home. They were sharecroppers and shit like that. And that's pretty much, there's a monopoly going on right now till this very day. And this is why black people, for the most part, don't have shit. You know, after generations and generations of freedom, but you got nowhere to go. And then black people fighting for integration, but we being integrated, but we don't have money to go into the restaurants and shit like that. What's the point of being integrated, but you don't have money to go into a nice restaurant and eat? That's one of the biggest fucking hypocritical tricks. But basically, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. You know, and like I said before, black people had our own cleanesses. We had our own buses, our own trucks, our own cabs. You know, we had it all. But then once we became integrated, we gave it all up. We gave it all up. And now the ghetto's like a bucket with a bunch of holes in it. black ghettos, all like in Detroit. Detroit is like 97% black people, and they only own 2% of the businesses there. Yep. Well, it is what it is, y'all. I'm gonna go. Talk to you later.